Hello everybody, I'm InTheLittleWood, also known as Martin, and welcome back to the channel. So today is my first Apex Legends video, and there's a couple of reasons for the delay. The first being, I've been playing it more than I've actually been working. Yeah, I'm a little bit addicted to this game. It's actually really bad. Secondly, I can't seem to record anything on OBS at the same time as recording my shadow play for this game, because it is a humongous GPU hog. Literally, Apex Legends makes my GPU, my graphics card, go to 99% consistently whenever the game is running, which is nuts, but apparently other people have had that problem, and it seems as though they're going to be working on it, which is good. And then finally, I didn't know what type of content I wanted to make. Do I want to do just solely gameplays? Do I want to do news, speculation, reviews? So I decided we're going to have a combination of these things, okay? I'm going to give you a very quick review of what I think of the game so far, because I've had loads of you asking me on my Fortnite content, as well as Twitter, what I reckon. Then we're going to do my 10 things I would like to change or add into Apex Legends, and then of course there's gameplay footage underneath it. And I just want to point out that this game I've included because it was high kill, it was high intensity, and there were only 2 of us inside of the game. We weren't queued up like together, we just paired up together randomly. Our third basically jumped out before we even got into the match, so we were really against the odds, but it was fun. So let's get straight into it then. This is what I think of Apex Legends. It's brilliant, right? We all just know it's brilliant. I've genuinely gotten addicted very quickly, and I just love the fact that it seems to be taking all of the best parts, and they've really bided their time when it comes to developing this, and you can really tell. They've got the movement mechanics from Titanfall, which is their own little child. They've taken some of the best elements of Blackout when it comes to first-person gameplay. They've managed to strip away what seems to be most of, if not all of the bloom, when it comes to firing guns from Fortnite, and they've also got those slight character elements and that kind of personalization that Overwatch has as well. It just seems to be a really good blend. So the game plays well, it's got all these really cool factors, it actually runs smoothly on all 3 platforms that it's published on, but the most important thing was that this was a surprise to everybody. Like, literally nobody knew that this game was coming out other than the people developing it, a couple of content creators that went there about 48 hours before, but even then we still didn't know when it was coming out, what it was going to be. We just knew it was a battle royale, and that was all. And I think that means that we're all still in this really fun honeymoon phase of the game's release. And I think if anybody's ever experienced the game launch, whether it's an MMO, an FPS, whatever it may be, the first couple weeks of a game releasing, as long as they go smoothly, are the best moments, and you're going to remember them for years to come. Most of you won't care about the nitty-gritty details, so I'm not going to go into the mechanics and what I think of each individual little bit. I feel like we'll touch on that in my little top 10 list anyway as we go. But one thing that I do want to say is please don't judge this game because it's published by EA. It's not developed by EA, it's simply published by them. They're helping out with the monetization, the advertising, the pushing it out to the world. Respawn have done a wonderful job. It's free to play. Why not at least just give it a try? So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Here are 10 things that I would change or add to Apex Legends. Starting off with number 1. Indicators. So the most frequently asked question in any of my lobbies whenever I'm teamed up with friends or with randoms is, has anybody found something other than a pistol? The next question after that is, what kind of ammo do you need? Do you have this kind of ammo? And this could be so easily resolved with just 2 tiny little symbols. I'm proposing that we put 2 tiny ammunition indicators on the left-hand side of the screen, either on, next to, around, whatever it may be, just next to the player cards that are in the bottom left corner. You don't need to know the specific model of their gun, what attachments it has, just solely the ammunition type, right? Because with how quickly people loot and leave and chop and change what they're carrying at any given time, it's really hard to keep on top of that information unless you're constantly badgering them to try and assist them. Moving on to number 2. Asking for ammunition. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong on this one. Somebody may already know that this exists. You can educate me in the comments. Please do, because it would help me out greatly. But I am thoroughly impressed, okay, by the extensiveness of the ping system. I think it's great. But the one command that seems to evade me, if it's even in the game at all, is the request ammo one. Because when you press and hold on the middle mouse button currently, there seems to be this huge array of options, and pretty much all of them are telling you about an enemy being nearby, or I'm going to move in this direction, whatever it may be, but there doesn't seem to be one just simply requesting bullets. And honestly, I think it might actually be the same as well when it comes to heals. So unless that's currently in the game, I would love to see that addition. I think it would pair very nicely with the last point that I made. Tweak number 3. Strats Extended. Now, given the architecture of the map and the ping system being as good as it isn't the most impossible task in the world to try and guide your teammates in a certain direction to back you up if they're not on microphone. What would be really cool though is if there was just like one little step further where you could maybe bring up the map, you could right click or hold the middle mouse button, whatever it may be, and you could actually drag and draw a line describing the route that you want to take for your teammates, or maybe even using it to show where you're going to go if they start pushing from head on, so they're aware of what your flank is going to be. And don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting this to be a real world element, so you know that you can see the markers around the world as they are. It could get very messy if there are just all these squiggly lines all over the place. This would just solely be shown off on the mini-map, maybe, but realistically only on the large map. I appreciate that one's a bit of a stretch and it might not be fully applicable to most players, but it'll just be a little quality of life thing. It probably won't happen. Tweak number 4. Crafting metals. Okay, so you may or may not know by now that if you want to create anything fresh inside of this game, inside of the locker, whether it be a skin, a banner, trimmings, voice lines, a finisher, whatever it is, you need crafting metals. And currently, the only way to obtain these is via leveling up and being awarded Apex packs, or you buy those said same packs from the shop. And even then, it's still not guaranteed that you'll get crafting metals inside of each box. That's just not what happens. I've already seen a ton of people, myself included, saying that we would happily shell out money to buy Apex coins to specifically buy metals to be able to create our stuff, but come on, this is EA. I don't see that happening. At a stretch, I might see them giving us up a few materials if we happen to pull a duplicate from a pack, but nothing more than that. Just to continue this trail of thought as well, given the nature of the game with its, limited legend roster and people seemingly picking a main quite quickly in this game, simply allowing us to just deck out our card and be, content and happy with it, that's not their priority, is it? They want to make money. They want us to buy. They know we will. We know we will. But what about if they let us recycle cosmetics that we don't want and will never use, just for a tiny sum of materials? It doesn't even have to be much. It could be a pitifully low amount, but at least we'd feel like we're making some kind of progression to the cosmetics that we want, right? Tweak number 5. Training Expanded. I was really pleasantly surprised at how simple and efficient the tutorial for this game was. There was a ton of new concepts to the Battle Royale genre, loads of mechanics to digest, and you're done within mere minutes. It was great. The only problem that I had, though, is you only go through it as Lifeline. What would be really cool is if we could jump back in there and try it out as the various different legends that the game has to offer. Now, I know some people will get elitist and they'll be like, well, you should learn by doing and blah, 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 blah. But realistically, when a brand new hero drops or a brand new legend drops, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of being able to pick it in your lobby, which is already sucky, and everyone's going to be choosing the same thing. And then secondly, you're not going to be very adept with that character. So not only do you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting it, you're also likely to die very quickly if you do the wrong thing. Let us jump into the range, give it a try so everyone can get hands on ASAP. Please, the firing range exists, just let us go there. Tweak number 6. Making friends online. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but generally, the audience that I've come across so far for Apex Legends seems to be slightly more mature, and as a result of that, I've actually had a ton of really communicative and really chill people to play with. The only shame point with that is that there's not a button at the end of the game, on the final stats screen or something around there, that lets me hit play again or regroup or continue with this squad, or at the very least, just let me see their profile so I can add them on Origin. And sure, you can write down their name, but it's just not that convenient, is it? Being able to either do it on that screen, or at least maybe even go to your friends list, go to recent players, and find them via those means like Overwatch, that would be wonderful. Tweak number 7. Badges. What do they mean? So unless you're a massive nerd with a photographic memory and the wiki page is already logged into your noggin, you're going to have no idea what these badges mean on somebody's banner. And I feel as though they could go a long way to either intimidating other players or simply just being a laughing point. So please, for the love of God, let us mouse over those badges to actually get a little tooltip that reveals what they actually did. I worked damn hard for that badge when not a single one of my teammates went down for an entire game. That's impressive. I want people to know I did that. Tweak number 8. Mirage's ultimate. It's just not great, is it? it's just genuinely, I think it's honestly the worst ultimate in the entire game. The deception realistically only works if you stand completely still, which nobody is going to do. You're going to be the obvious Joe stood in the middle of this circle of dudes. They're going to be a meat shield for about 2 seconds and then you are dead. I think a tiny tweak that would go a long way is having maybe even fewer decoys, but actually have them all run off in different directions, similarly to your Q, and this is just like a more souped up version of that. I think if you're running off off, and then the rest of them are stood in a circle, static, that's not fooling anyone. The stealth this ultimate currently provides doesn't even come close to being the equivalent of the damage that Bangalore Shower has, or the sight that you gain from Bloodhound's ability. They're just not on par. If you guys have got any other ideas for how this ultimate could work, then feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your ideas. His technology that he has to make duplicates of himself could be so creative. Tweak number 9. Tooltip topped off. So the tooltips for the weapons in this game are actually really clean. I can't fault them, to be fair. They do give you a good indication of the style of weapon, the ammo type, the fire rate, but you've got no idea of what kind of damage these weapons can truly bring. With the lack of a rarity indicator typical of other shooters, it's a bit of a steep learning curve to figure out what's going to perform better in any situation. Of course, there are legendary variants of some weapons where they actually have a gold version, and there's even those factory ones as well that are yellow, and you typically find them in the pods in the late game. But other than that, you've got absolutely no idea. Of course, you can't compare a pistol to an SMG, but what would be cool is if you had 2 SMGs, you could look at the magazine size, you could look at the average DPS, to make a more informed decision about what weapon you want to take moving forwards. Even if the weapon just told you how much damage it does for a body shot and a headshot, that would also be equivalent. This is all information that I've had to find from a subreddit or from Google. I would like the game to tell me. Now, I'm keeping my fingers crossed on this, but please tell me I am not the only person who struggles with the wheel when you're in a high intensity situation. The wheel I'm referring to is the wheel to choose your meds as well as your grenades. It just frazzles me a little bit because you got to like press 4 and then realize it's not the one you want, then you like press and hold 4 and then you move the mouse and then you got to press 4 again to bring it out, then you can left click and then you can actually get on with something. This isn't me calling for the wheel to be removed, by the way. I adore it. I think it's fine. As I'm running around the world or when I'm not being shot in the face, it's totally cool. It's just a bit much. So how about a very simple request on keys 5, 6 and 7 or whatever else you want to keybind it to, allow us to quickly select different kinds of heals. Maybe 5 could be a Phoenix kit, 6 could be a med kit, and 7 could be a shield cell. I think that would be great. Although part of me does think they've gone with this wheel mechanic though, because it just adds in a little extra more to do, which allows the enemy that extra few seconds to get on top of you and finish you off. I guess maybe I can scrap what was number 10 on my notepad file and just summarize it in don't change anything. These are just loads of random footnotes that I want to close out on. When I say that, I mean don't buckle to the community's demands for X, Y, and Z. Don't go for a solos playlist, don't go for a duos playlist. I love the fact that this is a squad-based game and people seem to be really communicative inside of it. Maybe go up to teams of 4, I wouldn't be against that. I think that would be really fun, but keep the game fundamentally the same. I wouldn't mind seeing the circle times come down a little bit. I feel like the average game tends to cap out at around about 25 minutes if you're in the final circle. That's a little bit long. If you could bring that down, I think you would get even more casual players into the game and hopping onto the servers during peak times. And then I've just got some like wild things that I want on the list. Some of them I think will never happen, some of them might just happen. First and foremost, a replay mode. That'd be great. Everyone loves to watch how they died back or how they killed somebody back. It's a learning process and it would be really nice to have that information available if people can't utilize things like shadow play or OBS or fraps or whatever else it may be. It's really cool to have that. Other than that, I would like to see numerous maps inside of the game, and this is actually semi-confirmed by Respawn themselves. They've sort of hinted at the idea that they've not called the map the world or the map. It actually has a specific name, which means that we're very likely to get even more of them. And then finally, it's obviously a given, give us more legends. I don't want them to come out so frequently that we get bored of them, and then the balance in the game becomes really difficult to maintain between what's OP and what's not, and there being too many counters, and I basically don't want this game to become Overwatch. I don't want it to become one of those things where, unless you run a certain composition, you're not going to have a good time, because at the moment, it actually feels really good. You've got a mixture of heals, tanks, mobility, and utility, and they all seem to feel like totally balanced regardless of how many of one or the other you choose. So there we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it, and please let me know down below what kind of Apex Legends content you want to see. Of course, when new heroes, or new legends should I call them, drop, I'll for sure be doing a video covering them. When new weapons or new aspects of the map become available, I'm sure I'll be covering those as well. But generally, for the day-to-day, I don't really know what it is you want to see other than high kill games, because that's what everyone really likes. I have considered actually jumping in with the voice changer and doing some roleplay stuff, because that's been really fun in Fortnite, so maybe I'll do a little bit of that in Apex Legends when they improve the microphone quality. That is horrific. It was fine on day 1, sounded like Discord, now it sounds like a Nokia 3210. Awful. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I just thought I would put all that consciousness out onto the internet and see what you do think to the game as well. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for future video notifications. I know it's not Fortnite, but use my support creator code in the shop if you happen to be over that way as well. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.